Gordon goes foreign. One evening in the sheds, Gordon brought up a topic. When I was young and green, he said, I remember working in London. Do you know the place? The station's called King's Cross. But my friend Ella Rose also has origins from England. I don't think so, Gordon, she said politely. London's actually called Euston. Euston? That's just nonsense, scoffed Gordon. London is King's Cross. All right, Gordon, said Ella Rose. Now I have to go to sleep. Good night. And she went to sleep. Duck, however, wasn't in the mood for sleep. Rubbish, said Duck. London's Paddington. I know, I worked there. The two continued arguing until morning came. James had had enough by sunrise. He had been up all night due to the arguing. You know, there's something both of you agree on, and that's that London isn't Euston. Now shush, and leave the subject alone. I know London's King's Cross, said Gordon crossly. I'll go and prove it. A few days later, I had shunted Gordon's coaches for his afternoon train. Gordon came up to me looking sad. What's wrong, Gordon? I asked. You look sad. I just want to prove to everyone that the station in London is called King's Cross, but my driver has stopped me every time from going over the Vicarstown Bridge to the mainland. Don't worry, I said, trying to cheer him up. You'll get to London one day, and you'll be able to prove to all of us that London is called King's Cross. Just then, my driver went running up to Gordon's driver. What's the matter? Asked Gordon's driver. The engine to the mainland express has turned over, my driver explained. We need you to take the train to London. Gordon's driver smiled. Fine, he said. We'll show them what Sir Topham Hatt's engines can do. Come along, puffed Gordon to the coaches. We're going to town, sang the coaches excitedly. Gordon found that London was a long way away. Never mind, he said. I like a long run to stretch out my wheels. Still, he was glad when London finally came into sight. The next morning, the station master came running into Sir Topham Hatt's office with a newspaper. Excuse me, sir, but have you seen the news? No. Why? Asked Sir Topham Hatt. Take a look at this, said the station master. Famous engine at London Station, police called to control crowds. Sir Topham Hatt smiled. The very next morning, Sir Topham Hatt was waiting when Gordon and his crew returned from London. Did you enjoy yourselves? He asked. Oh, yes. We signed so many autographs that our arms ached, and Gordon was in so many snapshots that he didn't know which way to look. And I expect you enjoyed yourself as well, Gordon? Sir Topham Hatt asked. No, sir, I didn't, said Gordon glumly. London's all wrong. They've changed it. It isn't King's Cross anymore. It's St. Pancras.